An old habit coming up to haunt you today? Are you starting to feel it? Like today is a spacey day. It's a day where you're going to feel the old pattern or recognize the old pattern in your life that has gotten you in so much trouble. It's going to show its head today and you get to make a choice. Today is the day to make a different decision. So do me a favor. We're going to start with raw reality, but I want you to put down in the comment, what exactly are you feeling today? Are you feeling motivated? Are you feeling frustrated? Have you seen that pattern yet? Because it's coming today if you haven't seen it. So put down in the comments what you're seeing, what you're feeling today. And also, Grand Rising, old pattern is showing itself. What is that old pattern? Go ahead and tell us. And also give me a bunch of likes, and over here, hit that after you give me your pattern. So put your pattern in there if you know it. Feeling the old pattern. What does the old pattern? Motivated and anxious, frustrated and unmotivated. Yes. So today's a day where today's a day that feels like a Sunday because it's a 25-degree Pisces day. So our calendar doesn't match the astrological calendar. Astrological, how you feel. Our calendar just gives you Sunday. That's why sometimes you feel charged on it. Sometimes you feel Sunday-ish. It's a Sunday feeling wobbly, anxious, old patterns of distrust. Feel like banks are going to crash soon. Oh yeah. I guarantee the banks are going to crash soon. By the way, we have been saying that since 2019. We've been giving the dates in our Lifestyle Artist programs. We've been telling them exactly when we believe it's going to happen. Even up in 2020, we were saying exactly. How do I reroute? How do you reroute necrosis? Reroute necrosis? Not sure. Okay, let's get on with and hit this button, please. Send this to your partner, your friend, send it to somebody you don't like. For whatever reason, the algorithm isn't picking up yet. So take that button right there and press it and send it to somebody. Hey, Ra, how you doing, buddy?
Good. What's up with you?
I've been having a really super interesting week. I mean, this week, this week was like powerful in a lot of different ways. I meet with Chris every week and we give a forecast for the whole week of Astro Mondays. And last 2 weeks, he's been so dead on. And he says that we're coming to a crescendo this week. Today we're in a spiritual day. It feels like a cloudy day. Like some people feel unmotivated, like they don't know what to do. And then tomorrow, it's a decision day. And then on Friday is a day we're supposed to take some sort of action towards this new vision of who we are, what we've been doing, what we've been thinking. And it feels like that. Like I made some big decisions this week, starting on Monday. And actually was kind of through last week, it was building up. Because I have one of the things that I've never done, and you've asked me about this too, is where's that book on fascia, on my belief on the body and all that stuff? I haven't done it on purpose. Well, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do it in a book. I'm going to do it over 12 classes, one class per month, so people can get, because you can't read this and intellectualize it. You have to touch it, feel it, be a part of it. So I'm going to do it as a seminar series once a month for 12 months. And it's basically, once you do the fascial maneuvers, what happens at the next part? Like, how do you live your life? What happens? How do I believe? How do things like chakras, or how do things like urine therapy, or how do things like managing my emotions and all that, how does the energetic play into my physical health? And why am I doing what I do? So I'm gonna be breaking that over. And I made that decision starting up last week. It was ramping. I'm going to do a class, an advanced class. And then it just kind of built. And then Monday, I'm like, no, I'm going to write the book, but this is how I'm going to do it. So that was my week. What was yours like?
Nice. So mine's similar. I did a presentation at Conscious Life Expo. I spent all weekend there. It was amazing. So 3 days there, and when I was there, I got invited to speak at 4 other conferences, and then I determined, similar to you, that all right, I'm going on this path. I'm going to be speaking a lot more, and all of these talks, because I'm preparing for them, I have to find studies, I have to find stories. I can then easily translate that into a book or a course. of
Mhm.
some sort, and that has to go hand in hand. That gets to go hand in hand with the talks. And for me, it's more about the elements: light, air, earth, water,
Yeah.
ether, and then eventually, when you connect with that, you definitely do also get to align your emotions, your thoughts, your actions. But it's similar to what you were saying with fascia, and then the internal and the mental and the emotional mindset comes as well. It's the same thing with the elements and how I work that into the human experience. You connect with the elements, but you really only can connect at the level that you're internally connected as well.
Yeah. And this is where I'm going, is that in order for us to connect with the elements, we have to clear our crystal.
Right.
But people are trying to do it just by eating the right thing. Well, a lot of people are trying to do it with their mind. That don't work. That's why we're
Intention only.
here in this. Yeah, and then a lot of people are trying to do it by, they think that they're eating, or they're eating the right way, they're taking the right things, they're using the right tools, and they're still not quite there. And what the journey we've been on is to connect to the other side. And I've spent enough time, lived with you, hung out with you, that I know that you and I just, we're definitely on a different frequency than the other people that that we're around. And that the gap between, this is what I always found. You have these programs, and then you have this master of the program. He becomes an ascended master. He goes off and he does this stuff, but there's so much distance between that person and the practice that they started, or the belief that they started, that people get caught up in the belief or the practice and they can't make that jump. That's what I found.
Between the guru and the practice that they start.
Yeah, I mean, like if I look at a lot of people, like I made an assumption, I made some assumptions. I know assumption. That's making an ass out of you and me. I got
Right.
it. But I made some assumptions about some people that had other practices, colleagues, let's say. And as I started to talk to them, realized that they're no longer even almost identify with the practice that they created. And I'm at that point where what I do is so different than what people starting to do in fascial maneuvers.
Oh,
And
I got what you're
and
saying now.
and now what I want to do is but I don't want to just continue. Like, I'm happy to continue on my path. It's almost like the point where I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that part of the work anymore, but I made a commitment to help people. That's what I want to do. I mean, my journey is to help people transition. And so now I want to share that part of the journey with them. Hey, by
Oh,
the way,
like stage two.
yeah, by the way, everybody, if you can do me a favor, go down to the button on the bottom right-hand side, the arrow little thing. For whatever reason, our algorithm hasn't picked up. Like, we are like 200, 300 people short of what we normally be. Can you, that one right down there beside Raw on the right-hand side of your screen, can you hit it? Send it to your partner, send it to a friend, send it to a whole bunch of people. And then what it does, it tells the algorithm, because there's something going on up there. It's not quite kicking it. I don't know why.
So Gary, let me just rephrase what I'm hearing, because I had a similar thing with all of the things that I've taught and coached before. You're saying that what you started off teaching, you are on to maybe phase two or maybe phase three, but you haven't been sharing that, and now you're going to start sharing that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I've shared elements of it. It's not been a cold. I've been telling people along the way, and letting them into different parts of this. But I don't. But I feel like I'm getting too far away,
Mm-hmm.
and and I like, for me, I was going to do the book, which is the real belief. Because one of the things that we haven't done on purpose is we haven't told the world what we really believe fascia is and how it works. I mean,
Right.
we've talked about the pressurized body, we've talked about the maneuvers and the fetal position, but that's only the scratching surface. That's what we discovered in 2018, 19. But the part of how I see fascia functioning, and then that changes the whole, because we said the bones are a structure. So what are they? Well, we need to go a bit further into that and then talk about how I see fascia working in concentric rings, ones that you can't see, but you can feel. And you felt on my body when I do that. I can move my fascia and it's like a whole layer of slides. Well, people that they're still thinking fascia is a coating of a muscle, and
A
some of them are
wrapping.
starting to think, yeah, and it's not that.
Right. I mean, that's how we pick up our groceries from the grocery store. So that's what we think is going on in our body. It's so
Yeah.
funny
So
how we're programmed.
yeah, and it's because for me, like, and here's another thing too. People ask, well, who are your mentors? Who do you follow? Who do you study? And I used to have a way of saying, well, I'd give them a couple names of people that they would know or they read, and I'm like, because I didn't want to sound arrogant or ignorant or are not even non-respectful of other people. And my mentors have been nobody. And my mentors have been my own experience in my body without anybody telling me anything else. And when I figured out, like when there was periods of this time over the last 4 years where I remember there was like 3 months I could barely walk up a set of stairs, and I could easily have Jason and Cynthia fix it for me. But I'm like, no, I want to figure out why. I want my body to figure out. I want to figure out, and that's how the hip release came. Because I'm like, there's something wrong here. I just got to I couldn't figure it out. And then I laid down, I did it one day, the hip release opened up, and then instantaneously it went away. And no, that's part of the journey, right? It's part of the exploration. In order to create something new, we can't go to something that already existed. We have to reference. So everything all of humanity, all the stuff that we talk about, where we had these powers and these ancient abilities and stuff like that, it's there. I know it's there, but our current education and knowledge of the body and how it works can't get us there because it's what's actually limited us.
And there's the fundamental belief that the answer is within a doctor's recommendation or the answer is within a study only. And people are almost like basically ignoring their own experience in lieu of waiting to see if a study proves it. And that's just not how reality operates. We have a body with us right now that we can do our own experiments on. And there I see the comments in your guys' posts, and there was something you posted where you said you started off this statement saying, I've worked with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, and in my experience, dot dot dot. And then you get the comments, well, where's the studies? Where's the studies that prove it? And it's like he just said he's been
That
working
is
with
the
all.
study.
Yeah, like what are you guys talking about? Just because it wasn't published in a political, like that's all politics too. The whole science thing, like people, because I've worked with psychology. I have a degree in psychology. I've been working with studies and looking at research my entire adult life. And it's surprising if you've never done that before, if you've been watching football your entire life, when you actually start looking beyond what the media tells you is science and you actually start looking at actual research studies, you'll start to find out that all the scientists are arguing with each other. Some say this, some say that. It's all being newly discovered, and whatever makes it out into mainstream is essentially just serving the agenda. They're just cherry picking what serves the agenda, just like everything else. And so science is really an internal job. We get to make we can look at the studies, we definitely can, but we really have to look at all of the studies, and then it's up to us to make our own choice. We can't leave it up to the
You
journals
know what?
or the politicians to tell us what is the right
When
choice.
I look at a study, it prejudices my experience.
And then there's that.
So this is where this because what happened was is I went through this journey of trying to fix my body. Went for 20 years, spent $2.5 million, hundreds of practitioners from all over the world, and then I became a clinical practitioner, and I used all of the best medicine, best doctors, and had them in, learning from them. That's where I learned my trade. Then it's taken me the last couple of years of that and all the way to here, which is now about 6 years, to to shut all of those studies out of my mind so that I could see something new. So basically, I learned everything up to a point, but then it failed. And if you think the science in the body is valid, I mean that's where the problem comes in, because I say this all the time. There's 2.25 million proteins. Proteins run every function of the body. We only identified 50,000 of them. We only know what 5,000 of them do. And so we only know what 5,000 out of 2 million do. So there's no way that we can accurately say that we understand the human body. That's like saying because I have a bay here and I've studied my bay in that ocean, I understand the ocean. There's like no
Right.
flipping way.
Right. And that gives us permission to make our own assessments and judgments on what it actually is. And I think that we're taught in school that we know all there is to know, and we don't. I mean, even the science of like stepping on the earth, and like from a Western point of view, this is like 20 years old. We've just now and for the first 10 of those years, everyone was calling Clint Ober, who was basically like the modern day discoverer of earthing in 1998. It was literally like just a couple decades ago. Everyone called him crazy for the first 10 to 15 years. So we've only really got mainstream adoption and looking into it for like 5-10 years. And like, what about the rest of us who's been doing this our entire life? Like that experience is more valid than any science that can come out with it.
So what we've done is gone through this journey, documented our experiences, and shared them in real time. What does science do? Is it gives you a precept, gives you something to do, lets you document it, and then report it back, and they statistically pull it together to draw analysis, and then they see if they can repeat the same experience. We have literally hundreds of thousands of people now that are doing this, and millions of people that are participating, starting to, and hundreds of thousands of people. That makes it the largest study on human beings in a contained period of time. Because what you do in a scientific study is you go get a bunch of people to take the drug or the protocol, and you have somebody interview them. We have the people, we've taught them how to evaluate what works and doesn't work, and had them report it. And this is what's crazy, is that we are running the largest scientific experiment, I believe, on human function in the history of mankind, and we're currently in the middle of it, because we get between 400 to 1,000 testimonials a day in some sort, or story, or we have people journaling not only their physical experience. Could you do a drug study? Did you break out? Did you not? We're like, but I felt this way. I thought this way. My relationships were over here. I had an argument with my wife, and it triggered an old memory, and some trauma came up, which none of those studies actually encompass. And we have all that, and we have people reporting that data.
Fascia is a great example of science gone wrong,
Yeah.
because even just the whole muscle system. First, basically when you're starting to look at the human body, we go to the butchers, because the butchers are the ones that have been cutting up animals for years and years. So you go to them and you're like, hey, how is the body put together? You know this from animals. And they're like, they're slicing everything like this. And so when you look at textbooks, I mean, I went to school for exercise science. I took anatomy and physiology. When you're looking at the muscle system, it's just all like little pieces. And then there's a bicep, and there's a quadricep. And you don't realize that that's part of like a long, huge chain that isn't just long linearly. It's also, it's spiraling out from in to out in a way that we couldn't really conceive before. And what's exciting to me is the concepts that you're creating, and your team is coming up with, is just the beginning. Like it's got to be just the beginning. So whatever.
Just scratching the surface.
Right.
I literally, people, here's what I say, is that when people ask about the science, I'm like, you know what? That's a really good question. What we have is a whole bunch of results. And so we don't have science yet, but we have everybody fixing scoliosis, getting out of autoimmune disease. We have all the results, and those are documented. People are bringing medical reports and all that. So the results are there. You're right. We have a belief or an idea. We have a movement system and a way to care for the body, and we have all these results. So in between it is the science. And so and that science needs a theory. So I have a story of why it works. And I'm completely open to the fact that that story might be completely wrong.
Mm.
And that's the power, is that I want you to prove another way, not prove me wrong. I want you to add to my story or contribute in another way from your experience and everybody else out there experience, because we can't argue with the results. Science, a peer review doesn't necessarily have results. It has a sliver of results that is measured and is made an assumption on. We have millions of results now. So this is the fun part, where this is where what we're doing together, Rob, and part of what we're doing is we're putting it out there and we're showing people the truth. Now science has the daunting task of trying to explain why it's true, because you can't argue with it's already there.
There's so much stuff I'm thinking about that is still yet to be uncovered. Like, what sort of, well, I know that you have like a diet regimen, but what exactly is fascia made of? Is there sounds that impact it differently than other sounds? Does it respond to color? Does it respond to emotion? And just like the energetics and even the physical component of it. But I am curious, do you have an answer for what is fascia physical?
Yeah, I
And
do.
what's it made
I do.
out of?
I have a
Collagen?
very clear answer of what it is, and I'll share a little bit of it today. But first of all, we are trying to define the body from the inside, from this experience outward. That's not going to work, because you have to, in order to look at a map, I can't look at where I am at, the city. I have to go to the country or the globe and then look at it and look at where the city is to really get perspective. So before we can define fascia, we have to define what is a human experience.
What's it in?
Yeah. So basically, measurable by all kinds of equipment, including thermography, satellites, all kinds of equipment. We can measure a field of energy that's a human experience, which is about 6 feet for the normal person. People like you who are managing their field, that field will often go to 20 to 30 feet. But it's a ball of energy. I don't see it. You don't see it. Some people do. They call it an aura. So, but a dog sees it. Lots of animals see it. Lots of reptiles see it. Lots of species see it. So that's where fascia starts, because it's the container. Part of that container is so dense that you and I can see it. It's so low frequency that the naked eye can see it. That's where what we call fascia starts. But that's not where it really starts. Because think about when we're born, the sperm fertilizes the egg, and then a ball of plasma grows. And in there grows a little musculoskeletal system. And in relationship, that musculoskeletal system to that plasma ball is the same relationship in size as that field is to us right now. We're still inside the womb.
So the womb, got it. And the womb's essentially the map.
Yes. Now, fascia, now the next part to do this is, let's put the whole body into centrifuge. Let's spin it at millions of revolutions per second. Let's break it into atoms. What comes out when you squish and centrifuge the body? What comes out of us is sand, water, and cells of bacteria, viruses, and parasites. That's it. Even the bones are gonna. Oh, look at it, see. even the bones, if you spin it hard enough, it's gonna break into its elements, right? That's what we do to break something down. So basically, the construction of a human is sand and water. That's why in the 28-day reset we show, well, what does frequency do to sand? It makes it vibrate as you've seen on a plate and into geometric patterns. The higher the frequency, the more organized the patterns are. What does electrical current or frequency do to water? Well, it makes it spiral. And if you use a sine wave, it spirals backwards, upwards. So if you have sand and you have water and you put frequency on it, some of it's going to vibrate and create this crystalline structure, which at the higher frequencies, you see it looks like mesh. What is our fascia? It looks like mesh. What does water do? It spirals up. The gravity, which pulls sand and gravity has, I know we're not going to argue about gravity, but generally the force pulling us down, okay, when we have an emotion, it's heavy. When we have a bone, it's more weighted. It has more density. So the more density is, the more it's pulled down to the earth. So emotions are heavy. They feel heavy. They feel restrictive. They feel like, I feel so heavy from this conversation. But our thoughts are electric. So the emotions are magnetic, pulling us this way. Our thoughts are electric, pulling the water. So the water gets pulled this way, and the sand gets pulled that way. And with the vibrational frequency, which is the Schumann resonance, and then the frequency of our field is inside of us is a perfectly shaped human. Now, when that field is malfunctioning, it's like, well, I'm not so perfectly shaped anymore. I'm scoliosis, or one of the limbs isn't working. But the answer isn't to fix here. The answer is to fix there. Because even if I move this out and make it work, eventually that field is going to pull it back. This is why therapies don't work. This is why no matter what you do, if you have a pattern that's dysfunctional in your body and you build a new pattern on it, when you stop doing the work to function on that pattern and you take the work away, then the body will go back to its lowest or most dysfunctional pattern. So that's why strengthening a muscle to create a result in a body to stand or look a certain way eventually fails. If it didn't fail, then everybody at their elderly would look perfect. But they don't. They're like,
Because
right.
that's the homeostasis of the field around you.
Yeah, and if you have muscles which are constricting, pulling me down, muscles constrict movement. So if I have a muscle pull me down and I have nothing to pull it, no energy to pull it back up anymore, it constricts. Like, how does somebody go from 6 feet tall to an older person at 5 foot, 5'4"? How does that happen if bones are structured? They don't. It's like we get shrunk down faster as a structure. The bones capitulate to the structure. And this is why building muscle, this is the first time in human history where we can see the direct impact of an action on a society by building muscle. It started off as me back in the 70s as a bodybuilder, Arnold Schwarzenegger, one generation above me, but they were just 10 years ahead of me. But I was part of that next generation. I went to nationals in 1989, and I was that generation of bodybuilders that people looked at. I was the guy that everybody wanted to be. I was big and buff. And then what happened was I started getting more and more and more restricted over time. It's like, well, it's like when I went out and worked with some guys in the industry and they're doing anti-gravity, they can't get their hands back. Never mind squat.
My arms used to fall asleep just from sleeping. Like every single night I would wake up and there would be no blood in my hands.
Yeah.
Just
And
because
that's two things. That's the compression, but it's also the compression of the fascial tissue, which people mistake for nerve compression. That's why people that have their hands go to sleep, they go to their doctor, the chiropractor, and goes, "Well, your nerves are okay. Like your nerves aren't doing it. So what is it? Why do you feel that tingling? Because there's no flow." So this view of the body is how I explained how I got into dysfunction and then how I got out of it. And And I guess part of it is the reason why I hadn't written the book is that getting the release and getting out of the pain and the dysfunction was only one step. But I didn't want to write it down until I was in performance. Like I didn't want to talk about performance because I wasn't there yet. I was still unwinding all the shit. But this last 6 months and like since I saw you last, Rod, my body has changed more since I saw you than it has in the previous 4 years.
I mean, every week you look different. Like, because I don't see you during the week. I mean, I notice a difference how you look today versus last week.
Yeah.
Like every time I feel like telling you, you look good. But yeah, I'm noticing a little bit of difference every week.
And I get up and do my morning maneuvers. You know when you work out and you're stiff the next day? I get up and do my morning maneuvers right now, and I feel stiff even at my fingertips because it takes me a minute because my body is moving so much every day. It's like a workout, even though I'm just doing fascial maneuvers, and, and like getting beefy fascial.
Yeah,
And
I knew somebody who was really big into Qigong and those sorts of arts, and he was showing me some things. Actually, it's Jason, the one of the managers or the buyers at Air One, but he was having me get into these postures and holding the position, and he wasn't explaining it as fascia, but basically what he was doing was essentially like igniting the fascia, and that's what they would do for exercise, even though there was no real movement involved. It was all about sending electricity or photonic energy into the fascia, and that's what makes them essentially powerful and strong
yes,
and able to fight.
yes, because really our strength comes from the field. Our power comes from the field. And what restricts our power is a restriction. Muscles create restriction. Like I've done this with you before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everybody try this with us. Take your hand, open it, get your best range of motion. Get as much as you can with your hand. Okay, now close your fist and tighten it and do the same thing. You lose range of motion. That means that if I grab my hand and work out, I'm working out or building muscle in a restricted range of motion. So I'm restricting my range of motion. That's why as a bodybuilder, I started to move like this. And I went around and told people and made judgments about people who weren't. And I said, that's fit. That's healthy. But the truth is fascia is with our organs, that's our processing power. So if it don't move, it don't work. And this is your brain or your function, not here. So if it's not moving, it's not working. If it's not working, there's a part of you that's limited. So if you limit a range of motion, there's a part of your psyche that can't connect to that field.
I have a challenge for you.
Sure.
Come up with a new definition for fitness. So I'll give you two examples. CrossFit's definition for fitness is power output, and power equals force times distance and the amount of time that it took you to do it. So from a CrossFit standard, you're fitter if you can do the same amount of work as somebody else, but in half the amount of time. Or you do more work in the same amount of time. So work could be run a mile, it could be deadlift 400 pounds 20 times, but that's the definition.
I think we have to take a step back and define what fit is.
Okay.
Fit,
but hold on. Let me give you the second example of a definition, because that's so Mick Dodge, who I spent time with, he used to live in basically the wilderness for 10 years, sleeping under trees and stuff. And his definition of fitness is fitting into nests. So his definition of fitness is, can I fit into the nest of nature? Am I able to fit into the city nest? am I able to perform tasks in different nests of living? And so his definition is all about the city versus nature and everything in between, and being able to complete tasks within those environments. You're able to fit into the nests. So those are my two examples. And then, yeah, let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take that. I'm going to take that as part of what I'm going to contemplate through this series. And so I'll talk about it. I don't have an answer for it right now, but we define fitness, really is the physical exertion on force or matter in nature to create a task. But true fitness would be able to do it, to manifest it technically, and and to do it without my physical being, like with success, like someone who's smart thinks about everything, but someone who's wise takes someone who's smart and did all the thinking and then uses it. So that's the difference between wisdom and brains or smartness. So I would say the same thing occurs because we've been limiting our view of the human experience to what we can do physically. But we know, even from the brain's perspective, there's three regions of the brain: rear, middle, front. The rear brain is highly dominant on hormone distribution, regulation and usage of the hormone. It also engages the cerebellum and homunculus. The homunculus is how hard do I grab? How far is it? What's the distance? The math. And the cerebellum so it's not like this. It's like, yeah. So what we're measuring in all of our fitness today is the rear brain back. But and part of the example that we give is that we say that the brain and the muscles don't move fast enough to move the body. Muscles cannot move the body because they don't even respond fast enough to stimulants. The example is, you've heard me say this, right? You step on a piece of glass, how do you move? Mm-hmm. Well, we say it's this. That can't be that way, because then I step on glass, that is a good point. But I don't. I move intelligently one way to safety, which means that before my brain knows there's danger, something's moving the body. Our assumption, our theory was it's the fascia, because there's nothing else left. Or it's magic. I mean, it could be magic, but who knows? So,
God.
So the idea of the muscle, the brain moving muscles in the body, well, something fascia is moving it, but how does fascia know where to move? How does it know to catch a ball like that? Well, it's interpreting the information from our field. Just like when I read, I read like this, but I'm following up with this company that teaches people to read with a blindfold, and then play ping pong with a blindfold, then play tackle football with a blindfold. In other words, that my eyes are just literally interpreting energy or signal. There's never a problem with the eyes. There is the brain's ability to perceive. And because when we lose partial senses, we learn how to function without them. Mm-hmm. And then super athletes, they have this, you've seen that one with the baseball, right? Where it hits a baseball, it's going to hit the reporter, and he just goes, catches it and throws it up. Well, that command has to come from somewhere. So the idea is fitness cannot be measured in here. Emotion precedes motion. So I have to have a desire before the cerebellum, homunculus, and the hormones fire. If I have no desire, because we can take away, we can block your desire with chemicals. Yeah, I think I want to move. I'm hungry, but I'm not going to move.
Oh, and that stops your movement.
Yeah. So we have to have an emotion, a desire before we move. So emotion has to precede motion. Emotion is the communication language between your field and your biology. It's energy in motion. Mm-hmm. So it's actually, your biology has a field and it's moving into the body to then move externally. So emotion is the communication language.
And that's what the heart is interpreting.
Well,
the field.
The heart. Well, no, that's Part Math Institute. all of the organs interpret the field. The heart coordinates the emotions so that the brain talks to the brain so it can coordinate the actions that the fascia is already moving. The fascia is moving the body. The field in the fascia already moves the body. Then the muscles stabilize the movement. The muscles have a further stabilizing force, which is the bone.
This is, there's a bunch of studies on precognition where they have random generated images and people can start to respond to the images before the machine even picks out what the images are. So they've got blood and terror images and they have flowers and blissful images, and they can start seeing that people's bodies are responding before the machine even picks out which image is going to show
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
And then all the random number generators that are all over the earth,
Yeah.
those all start to switch during significant events like 9/11.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and you're expanding it a little bit because if the heart is just part of the fascia, right, as opposed to this significant organ. I mean, it is a significant organ, but what you're making me realize is that it's essentially like a piece of a bigger picture, which is the whole field.
So if you watch Unwinding the Heart from Guy, whatever, we have it YouTube, Unwinding the Heart. He dissects a heart. And in the dissection of a heart, um, uh, yeah, so that's okay. It's okay. So he dissects the heart, and when he unravels it, he says, "Well, the heart's not even a pump. Technically, it's a centrifuge. It spins, and the lungs, or where the heart sits in between, are actually what pump it. The circulatory flow will happen regardless of the heart. It's going anyways. The heart just is a part of the circulatory flow. And when he unwinds the heart, he takes apart and he opens the layers. He proves my theory of fascia because you can see layers of muscle, fascia, fascia, muscle, fascia. Every organ is an amalgamation of the fascia with all of the layers that it's used to work in this world. And that's the muscles in the layers of fascia because with the body, its fascia is a neural network. Like if you put a mesh in here for your hernia, the whole thing is what they want is the body to grow over that mesh to integrate it to make it stronger. It's like mesh. It's the same thing they do for a concrete wall, retaining wall. They put mesh in there and they put all the dirt and stuff around there so that it holds it. Well, what is that mesh replacing? It's the mesh of the fascia. Like when a baby's born, it doesn't have quadriceps and biceps. They don't look like that. It has a ball of goo, and that goo is all fascia. And as the baby starts to move and create structure, it lays down on there, it lays down on that mesh, it lays down little fibers which become muscles. Now, I know that people here haven't dissected a baby, but if you have done a baby's dissection, you'll see that they don't have. I mean, think about it. If you're dissecting it from an autopsy, if you've done this, babies don't have the muscles formed the way that adults do.
I actually didn't know that. I just never thought about that. But
Well, because if we showed it, first of all, it's kind of like socially wrong to even talk
right.
about it. But if you showed it, then you would have to explain, well, how the muscles got there. Then you'd have to explain that how muscles really build. And when I leverage this force over and over again, the fascia is moving the body. And when I keep doing that force over and over again, it starts to lay down these other tissues, which become muscle. That's how the muscle gets bigger. It's laying on the mesh. It's laying within the fascia. And that's what muscles are because, one of the things that I got was earlier when I was studying it was, well, think about the muscles. They have fascia. They said, well, fascia is through the muscle. It goes all the way through the muscle and it's around the muscle. and it's around the whole body, and it's all one piece. And I just said, wait a second here. A muscle is a formed unit you can pull out. How can it be in it and around it and the whole body connected? It like physically, from a physics point of view, that doesn't make sense. Unless the muscle was grown, laid on, unless the fascia was all webbing and the muscle came afterwards. It was built because we built our muscle to stabilize movement within a specific range of motion. But if you electrify the muscle, it just like you put electrodes on your tendon, it goes boom. You let it go, it goes boom. It doesn't go, it goes boom, boom. So muscles, when they get the charge to move, have an unintelligent motion within a range of motion. They got 3 biceps here, 3 triceps here. So it knows to have the force in the main one, the 2 second ones stabilize the backwards forwards so that it goes poof. It doesn't go like this, but it goes this. So it knows, because in nature we go like this. We don't normally go like this. So it knows to grab something and hold it. So it uses those two. You have a muscle, you have a minor, and you usually have a minor, major. A minor, medium, and major. So the muscles are known, but if you fire them, they have this short, jerky action. So that's another reason why muscles don't move the body. And then the other part too is, how is it that a gymnast who's not a bodybuilder, pound for pound, is stronger than most of the powerlifters? Right. And if you being a CrossFit athlete, you're the perfect example of muscles aren't the most effective way to move the body or create strength. Some of the strongest people in the world, if you look at that Anatole, he's a power lifter.
Yeah.
And he's on TikTok all the time. And he goes in like a janitor. And you got all these big guys, and they're like doing and they're like barely do these power lifts. And he's like, oh, just let me move it. The janitor, he picks it up, he goes like this, puts it down, moves it, picks it up, or picks one up with one hand, moves it. And he's a skinny dude. So if muscles equal power and force and strength or fitness, then how is it that he's doing it? Because he's not even very muscular.
You're right. So the answer is density. That's the answer that the gym people give, is that the muscles are denser on a stronger person.
Yeah.
Where a bodybuilder.
But how about this? How about this? If I'm going to move my shirt, let's use the current model of fascia. It's a coating, but it's connected to the other one. So if I get a restriction in my fascia between these muscle groups here, I now have trouble lifting my shirt. I have a restriction. So if I remove the restriction, I have less muscle, less force to get that action moved. So if I reduce the restriction, I become more powerful.
Oh. So
this is why
the answer is reducing restrictions makes you stronger.
Right, because you use less energy to exert your muscles in a biomechanical range of motion over force. Now think about the other part too. Fascia has a breaking point of tensile steel. That's 50,000 pounds. Your muscles will tear easy. So what's strong?
I mean,
what is that?
That's actually what does tear your muscles, is there's a signal that the muscles can't handle. Your body's moving. So there's something else that's moving the muscle that's tearing the muscle. It's not the muscle tearing the muscle. It's something stronger.
Exactly. So the muscles are the weak guys in the block. They're not the powerful guys. I mean, this is already proven science, because I know that from that side. And then it's, you take a look at it this way. So the question is, it's like, how does movement happen from that model downward? Well, the movement happens from energy. The more dense, the harder the energy has to move the matter. So the lighter the matter, the easier the energy comes from our field, and emotion is the language. If I want to lift something that's really heavy, it's like, right? I use more emotion to do it. But if it's really, if it's
now I get your example.
Yeah. So
I was wondering what you were trying to demonstrate with that, but yeah, I get it.
So the idea of everything from square one, what we've been taught, what I learned, because I became a bodybuilder, I perfected the muscles, I fixed people's muscles, only to find out that it didn't work. And then in my own body, I went, well, today I can put you on my back and run up a hill, a 45-degree hill, without even really busting a sweat. I don't bust a sweat. I hardly even breathing heavy. That's because my circulatory system, which is in the fascia, has less restriction, so it doesn't have to push as hard to get through it. I don't have as much restriction, so when I lift, I feel lighter. I feel like I'm 14 years old. I'm 174 pounds, 175 pounds. I haven't been this weight since I was literally 13 years old. I fought in judo at 175 pounds. I'm my 13-year-old body weight, but I don't look like I'm like 175 pounds. I look bigger, and I'm in natural range of motion, not lifting a barbell, but lifting a human being and moving them
100,
around. I'm
yeah,
infinitely stronger than I was.
175 pounds at 13 years old is huge.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big kid, but that's also why I was at. That's why when I was 19, I was like going pro bodybuilding.
That was an amazing start of an answer to what fitness is. It was, it was
Well, we have to answer the question, like, and I think this is what you're going to help me do, because it's what it's the elements. My ability to translate the elements through the light and the photonic parts of the energy. The clearer those fields are, and the cleaner my crystal is, the more fitness I have. I think the word fitness is wrong because fit has a, a way of thinking,
right.
and wellness is still a way of thinking. And this is where I'm now want to show people performance of the human body, because what happens when you get done with fascia maneuvers and all the restrictions gone? I'm literally at 98% restriction free. Like, I think I'm there. It's like that's why my face and everything's changing every day. So I'm excited about what's next, and that's what I'm going to start sharing with people starting April.
It's essentially like right now we're capable of one human being's worth of fitness, right? Because we're reliant on the physical body. And that's like a horsepower, like 1 horsepower. But if we develop a new engine or a new way of moving things within reality by using the field, then we're able to maybe build pyramids, without physically lifting those rocks up because we have capabilities, we have a fitness, we have yeah, fitness isn't the right word when we're talking about going into the field to manifest into physical reality, but that's the direction that we're headed, and we're going to be
Fieldness. How do you define fieldness?
right. But yeah, that's like we define engine power by the amount of horsepower that it equals, right? So we have like 300 horses this engine produces. Eventually, we're going to have capabilities that are going to be able to do 100 humans worth of energy produced in an intention. We're going to
Yeah.
be able to develop our capabilities towards that direction.
Yeah, I think you're, like, and this is why I like spending time with you, because you're analyzing all of this stuff. Like when you talk about a color, colors have an impact on the way that we feel and move. And we did that meditation the other day where we took and we worked all the colors through our body. Remember that?
Hmm.
And what I wear, what kind of clothes I wear, how clean is my crystal determine my fieldness. I'm just
Feel
trying it out to see if it
right.
works, because you're right.
Yeah. I mean, it impacts your reality. Another thing that's happening is the manifestation abilities are. I mean, I've always noticed how much I'm manifesting, but it's like it went up another level. I would say in the last week, like
Yes.
like like 5x.
What
Like
do
we're
you, what
like
do you, how do you, out of curiosity, how is it showing up in your life? Like, what are some, because for me, I get little things that shouldn't happen that do happen.
yeah, it's like literally like thoughts are immediately happening as me and my wife. Let me hold on one. My wife and I are thinking them. And so it's not, I mean, major things I really have no ability, or I have no, that's no issue for me to manifest cars and money and houses, and major things are easy. Like I've noticed that for a while, but now I'm like just having random thoughts, and they're like, and then 10 seconds later, another random thought, and then boom. So like, for example, I don't even, it happened like 3 times over the space of like 10 minutes. But one of them was I was at an electric charger with my car at a big parking garage, and the charger wasn't working, and I was trying and it wasn't working, and I was just thinking all the other chargers were filled. Okay, so all the other charges were filled. The parking cars were stacked on top of each other in this parking lot. Not really, but everyone was parking illegally, and so I'm like, crap. I didn't say crap. I was just like, well, I need another charger. And as I was thinking, I need another charger, like a woman started speaking to me, saying like, hey, I'm blocked in, because all the cars were blocking all the other cars. She's like, hey, I'm blocked in, can you move your car forward out of that spot so that I have a spot to drive out? And because she was blocked in, she was leaving another charging station, right? So I didn't see her before, but just the thought of like, hey, realizing like I need another charger, and then boom,
Yeah, not
like
the
it's
problem. Your thought, I want something, not I have a problem, this ain't working.
yeah. So, but that happened like 2 other times while I was in the trunk of my car thinking something, and it's just, um, I can keep on going, but they're silly. They're not even like, it's not life changing. They're just silly things that,
Yeah,
like,
but you get enough of those silly things happen to you every day, 30 times a day, that becomes life changing.
right.
See, people go like this, like they say, I get this all the time. Oh, I want to use my free will. And I'm like, you're at the point right now where you're being forced to make a big decision because your free will was to make 1,000 little decisions along the way that you chose to get here. So your free will is those 1,000 little decisions. And so it's those little things that are silly that add up to a big thing because you're faster in your day, you use less energy, you're not getting angry or frustrated, you have more emotions, you can think better, you can have perceive better, your serotonin, dopamine are higher, you can see more connections, you have more options in everything.
Yeah. And then you realize that that's the remote control to your life, to reality.
Yeah.
And you start relying on your emotions, your thoughts, and connecting with the field and the elements in your body. And you start relying on that as what is actually moving around your reality, and not necessarily your physical body controlling everything. There's something that originates it that we have access to. And I feel like so I always say that manifestation isn't something that it's not a skill. It's not something that you work on. It's something that's always happening. What we know of as manifestation is just you noticing that you're manifesting. It's like
Yes.
you putting the dots together to realize your control, your ability to manipulate what's going on, your steering wheel, essentially. It's like making itself realized. And the word manipulate I don't really like, but it's something like that there's not a word for. It's more,
So you're basically, and what you're saying is the truth, which I want people to hear. We constantly manifest everything all day long. So if you don't like what you have in your life, you got to check why you have it because you manifested that shit.
yeah, it's a choice. It's always been a choice. And people don't like to hear that. And they immediately go to, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about child getting abused in a different part of the world because they just want to ignore how it could be true for them. So they try to, but you can answer those questions if you first accept it within yourself. Then it gets some of those harder, difficult questions about like, why does war exist? Why does these things exist? It allows you to start seeing a possibility for why all of that is happening for everybody else as well.
Ron, I get this a lot because we have a new parents group coming out. Hundreds of parents have been using our belief systems and our maneuvers and our processes to heal kids off of cancer, spectrums, everything you can imagine right now. And I get this a lot because it's like the question is, why did that baby, like, why did it deserve like brain cancer? And I'm like, if we think of the human experience as just us being a human since we're born and we die, then that's a tough one to swallow. But if we became human to have an experience and that experience was to be hurt or to be tortured or to have cancer, and then I have my free will, I choose to either go through and thrive through that experience, or I choose to become a victim and die from that experience. So the baby made the choice. Babies are more conscious than we are. We're the ones that are unconscious. We become unconscious at 12 and 13 years old because we become so accustomed to the rules that we forget that there's all this other stuff around us that actually is there. So it's back to what is human? How do we define the container? And that's what I'm going to do for people. I'm going to say, I redefine my life. The reason why I'm changing so much is because I redefined my container.
Right. You've expanded yourself.
Yeah.
And you've expanded your concept of self, and it's expanded beyond from the time you're born to the time you die.
Yeah.
It's larger than that. I want to kind of finish off because I know we're getting to the end of our time by saying that I've only channeled twice in my life, and that's because it's the only times I've tried. I just got really relaxed, put myself in front of a computer, and just started typing the words that came to me. And one was light, light being light. That word actually means the might of love. That's what light comes from. But then it went into talk about soul, and soul meant soft oil. And I got this image of a machine that was all of our souls and very malleable. And what would happen is in this huge functioning machine of a bunch of different souls, there would be harder ones. And those would be like the criminals, the ones that are doing injustice onto others, and or diseases or war. And basically those things are happening. So the souls around those harder bits would get even more soft. Soft oil is what soul meant in this whole dream that I was having. But it was like, we need these challenges so that we can reflect and evolve in our soul's evolution, because it's not going to, this place isn't going to offer a lesson or a growth experience if everything is just easy and perfect. So there are difficult things in our reality that allow us to evolve and to grow and to question and to ascend.
Yeah,
And
we were taught that perfect was easy, but the human experience says differently. We grow when we have stimulus. Stimulus is something that's uncomfortable. That is literally the way that a human being grows. So without stimulus, we don't grow. We don't even breathe without stimulus.
right,
We create pressure. We use adrenaline to expand the ribs. And then when we release, and then the ribs touch and it creates a spark. Breathe. So it's stimulus. And when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, humans change. So it's redefining what is hard? Like what is like the criminals, as an example. If it wasn't dark, we couldn't have light. And if it wasn't something hard, we couldn't have something soft because the hard malleates the soft. That's what you're saying, the oil, the goo until it becomes oily. And it's like you squeeze a nut enough, it becomes oil. We're just nuts.
Yeah. And you just mentioned breathing. Next week, we should talk about bone breathing, how we
Let's
can
do
bring
that.
in energy through the tips of the fingers and pack it into our bone marrow.
Hey, we do that. We talk about it up here because it affects this one. That'd be very humorous.
Yeah. Humorous. All right. Well,
Okay.
you are very humorous.
Okay.
All
Thank you,
right.
Rob.
Well, enjoy your fieldness.
My
Is that it?
fieldness, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, my fieldness, yeah. But you gave me, that's perfect because this is the stimulation I want now because I'm putting context to how I'm starting in April. It's a worldwide program that people can follow once a month. I expect somewhere around like between 5 or 10,000 people to do it. And what it is, it's going to basically write or hard code all this stuff that I've learned so that I can share it with people. Because I honestly believe that there's a period of time. I don't feel like I feel like I have a limited amount of time to do this.
Right. It's now.
Yeah. And I feel because I feel that whatever's coming in our world, whether we evaporate or turn into light or whether our bodies leave, I don't feel a permanency in the current state of awareness. So I'm looking forward to a change, but
Yeah, as humans, we need to be able to adapt to those increased energies that are
yeah.
happening. And like you said, it might be a solar flare, but being fully integrated in the fascia and in our field is necessary for that. All right, bye everybody.
Bye, Ross. See you next week. What a great talk. Whoa, put down what that talk did for you. Put it right down in there and do this and send this off again. Well, I don't know what's up with the algorithm today. We have been lower on flow. Let's increase the flow. Give me a bunch of likes. Hit that button right there. Send it off to a friend. Send it off to your partner. Send it off to somebody you absolutely hate that you want to like. Bye, radio. Much love and request. So good. Yeah. What did you guys gain out of this? And then, and I'm excited about doing this 12-month program. It's going to be 90 minutes once a month. Haven't decided on the step date yet. And it's going to amalgamate everything that I've learned and experienced to date into a single stream. So that is the book. And I didn't want to put it in writing because I didn't want to get there till I was at the performance. I don't want to talk about something that I haven't done. Meaning of life, increased awareness, hope, yes, inspiration, hope for tomorrow. Yeah, hope for tomorrow. Where is tomorrow? Tomorrow's 26. Tomorrow you're making a decision, everybody. Love learning about fascia and body works. Expanding my perception, exercise, previous bodybuilder perspective. Yeah, there you go. Gain more knowledge about how fascia. Yeah, we're more than what we know. Isn't that true? We grow when we have stimulus, and stimulus is uncomfortable by its nature. Stimulate, make uncomfortable, create a reaction. Anne Marie McVeigh, dissecting babies. It has happened. I'm actually talking from a point of knowledge or truth and experience. So yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, like we have to know what anatomy is and what it looks like. We've dissected fetuses since the beginning of time, so just no one talks about it. Everybody's okay with dissecting an old dude or old girl. Uh, hey, Kira sees. Hope confirmation to lots of my thoughts. Okay, I tried to bring up Anne McVeigh, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. Anne McVeigh, if you're up there, accept it. I'm leading a baby massage workshop. Help me understand. Yeah, no dissections there, please. If you want to lead a baby massage workshop, we have a parents group, Mountain Message. You can go register for the parents group. I think it's in our, send a DM to us, say that you're doing a baby's workshop on massaging. We can show you the fascial maneuver protocol to be delivered to babies, because it was delivered first to children who were non-motion, they couldn't move, and so that they could gain motion. And some of them are, like quite a few of them are gaining motion. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. Hi, Kim Myers.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So everybody knows your birthday is April, what is it?
15.
15th. You're Aries, and you're in Alberta, way up north.
Yep.
What's been going on in your world since our retreat?
Um, since our retreat, well, lots of stuff changing, moving forward. I just suddenly requested to go live, so my heart is just beating a little bit here. Just give me a second. Okay.
Here, let's sync up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, everybody want to sync up with us? Take your right foot, put it over top of your left foot, right arm underneath left armpit, left arm on top. You can do this seated down. Turn your head to the left, turn your body to the right. We're going to take 6 breaths, 3 through the mouth and 3 through the nose. Counting 3, 2, 1. Breathe into the mouth. 2, 3. Through the nose. 2, 3. There you go. Could feel your heart drop.
Thank you. Um, yeah, I don't know where to put you.
You look really bright, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bright here.
No, I meant your
Alberta.
skin, your fascia. You look lighter, brighter. I mean, it's been a journey. I talked to you about a year ago, didn't I?
Yeah, actually, maybe next week or so. It's my 1 year anniversary because I
Yeah. Wow.
started.
So what's changed in the last year for you?
Uh,
Where were you a year ago and where are you today? So what were you dealing with a year ago?
well, a year ago, I was in pain every day and I could barely walk, and I was struggling with POTS quite badly, even though I was being treated for POTS. Um, but that's all gone. I'm feeling better, much better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had pots, but did you have pans? Pots and pans?
Yes.
You got a diagnosis called pans, and I'm like, well, do you got pots? Well, do you got pans? I got pots and pans. Next thing you know, they're going to do a diagnosis called a spatula.
Well, I've had that. I'm sure I've had it. So I have a purpose today. Obviously, I'm phoning in for a reason. Um, I am trying to clear out some old karma, I guess, and today seems the right day to do it. So that's what I'm calling. Um, uh, and so when you and Rob are talking about how, why do babies get sick and why did bad things happen and whatnot. Like I've had some not very nice things happen to me in my life, and so when I was 12, I was babysitting, and the man I was babysitting for took advantage of me, and but he did it in such a way that I didn't hate him.
Yeah.
And so, so that was really hard for me as a teenager to grow up thinking that this older man was somehow somebody that was that I loved for some reason. And so I worked with that a lot for a lot of years with therapy and whatnot. And I think I've gotten to the point where I realized that I'm sorry, Gary, I don't even know where to start. What happened was, I think I got to the point where I've forgiven him in a way that I realized that because it was my choice as a soul,
So there, let me help you with something here, Kim. So you were babysitting, 12 years old. An older man brought a sexual relationship. It 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 was one that you thought you wanted at the time, or as a soul you wanted, but you actually learned to love him or feel love.
I mean, I was so young, I didn't realize.
Sure, fair statement.
Yeah,
No justification for it, and you found a place to forgive him.
Well, I didn't. I didn't for
No,
years.
but now.
Yeah. Well, and
Okay, so what you're looking to do is forgive yourself.
um, yeah, because I feel that this whole time that it was my choice, and that I have to love that part of it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So last week I had sometime I had requested to talk to Aisha in a private conversation about this. And with the coaches coming in, there wasn't time, and that's okay. And then I thought today I was going to go on the LSA2 call and talk about this. And then I just thought this has to be bigger. This is bigger than me.
Yeah.
So I'm asking if I could read something.
Yes.
That
Please.
Because it's I know this is deeper than me. So also I should say that I do automatic writing. Sometimes it's perhaps people will call it
You
channeling.
shared it with me.
Yeah.
You shared it with me.
So this letter came from that part of me.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And I believe that part of me is my soul talking to me.
Yeah.
So that's why it's okay. So I'm just going to read this.
Okay.
Paul is the spirit that loves you most. Yes, this is true. True forgiveness will not be a price to pay. Rather, the gods will rain pleasure and truth upon you. Give to him the satisfaction of knowing that he sacrificed his glory and kingdom for the taking of you. You allow him grace, you allow him freedom. Release the burden as the purpose has been served for the higher good. You shall be free for the greatest good of you and the gods of ever after. Release the demons and accept your wings of destiny, of desire, of fate, love, and truth.
You okay there, Kim?
Yeah.
Okay. Super powerful.
Okay.
So comments in the there's a lot of people, and this is where it gets really, really complex, because if I think of the world as being just this world, and I'm just a human and I'm just here, then I'm a victim of everything that's ever done to me, good or bad. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit on the floor.
Yeah. And so in my life, including my sexual abuse, and people out there, you can feel whatever you want to feel for this. It's your journey. My journey is that I came here asking for that as a soul. And as a result, I can now do something about it. I'm no longer a victim. But if somebody did it to me, then I'm a victim. And if I'm a victim, I cannot move past my part. When I felt when I recognized the abuse that I had, I only had one emotion, which was compassionate understanding. Because I said, well, what happened in that person's life that made it okay for them to do that to me? Because as a baby, we come into this world, we're programmed into something. We just don't do it. So I found compassion for what you could call sexual abuse and molestation. And that became my superpower, which I see you taking right now. Yeah. And and if you guys have a different opinion of this, you're okay to have that opinion too. Like, it's not taking away opinion, not taking away your journey. But I had a journey that when I went to prison, that they did it to me. And when I accepted that I did it to me and that I wanted that as a part of my life, and I had things like my channeling that led me to that, then all of a sudden it became a power. It wasn't something I was ashamed of. I chose the experience so I could be here today. And Kim, I've watched you change over the last year. I've watched you physically change. By the way, you're not shaking near as much as
I
so. You've changed so much this year, and I've had the opportunity to spend time with you and work this through. I feel like you've let go of all of the victim part of this. And now it's the last part, is you've accepted whatever it was for him. Now it's for you. It's forgiving yourself, because you spent a lot of years in pain and suffering, and it was highly connected to this event.
I know.
Yeah.
And I thought today was a good day, being Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's a 25-degree Pisces day. It's the day that we spiritually aligned so we can come back into a community.
And I'm a 25 degree, so all these things are adding up for me. So,
Hey, do you want to? No, you don't need to talk to him. It's just about you. Put your right hand on your heart, left hand on your head. Breathe in through your mouth. Two, three. Thank you, heart. Thank you, body, for holding all of this trauma.
thank you, heart. Thank you, body, for holding all of this trauma.
Until I was ready to process it.
Until I was ready to process it.
I'm ready to process it all now.
I'm ready to process it all now.
Breathe in through your nose. Two. Three. Thank you, brain, for holding on to the narrative and story.
Thank you, brain, for holding on to the narrative and story.
till I was ready to change the narrative and story
Till I was ready to change the narrative and story
with the direction of my heart.
the direction of my heart.
My heart's in charge now.
My heart's in charge now.
Breathe into your mouth again. 2, 3. Through your nose. 2, 3. I forgive myself.
Forgive myself.
I separate myself from all the stories that have held me in this shame and guilt.
I separate myself from all the stories that have held me in this shame and guilt.
I'm letting go of all of that from my body and my life now.
Letting go of that from my body and my life now.
I'm letting go of anything that was collected along the way
I'm letting go of everything that was collected along the way
that doesn't serve my higher purpose.
doesn't serve my higher purpose.
I'm reconnecting to the reason I came here.
I'm reconnecting to the reason I came here.
Using my past as my superpower moving forward.
Using my past as my superpower moving forward.
Say your name, Kim.
Kim,
I forgive you.
I forgive you.
I'm letting go of everything.
I'm letting go of everything.
I love you.
Love you.
Breathe into your mouth. 2, 3. Through your nose. 2, 3. Okay, just sit there and let your arms and down your side. Breathe in, and when you breathe in, you're going to breathe the red gas in from around you. So you draw the red gas right to you. So breathe in. Now there's an orange gas on top of the red gas. Bring that in. Orange or red into your lungs. One for every part of your body. Now there's a yellow gas on top of the orange, on top of the red. Breathe it in. All the way in the lungs, all the way down to the feet. Now there's a green gas on top of the orange, or on top of the yellow, on top of the orange, on top of the red. Breathe in that green. All the way through your body up to your heart. Now there's a blue gas. Breathe it in through the green, through the yellow, through the orange, through the red. Breathe in. There's a violet gas now through the blue, through the green, through the yellow, through the orange, through the red. Draw it all into your body. Filling all the way up to your head. There's a white gas through the violet, through the blue, through the green, through the yellow, through the orange, through the red. Breathe it all in. It fills your whole body. Do it again. Like a rainbow inside of you. Okay. How do you feel?
My heart is beating in a different way from the beginning of the show or the call. Yeah, I feel like grounded but light.
Hmm. Yeah. Can you imagine? It's like you've been carrying this for a long time.
45 years.
And it's your solar return now. It's a year anniversary that since we've been talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Uh, can't wait to hear what happens because your world is going to change really fast, physically, emotionally, people around you.
Yeah. I know.
You know, we've been taught and that everything that happens to us is something that's been wrong to us or righted. Like that was you're lucky, this is given to you, or you're wrong. And I just haven't found it to be that way in my life. I find that if I own all of my experience, everything that's happened to me, right and wrong, if I take responsibility for it, then I have the ability to transform it. But if somebody else did it for me, I can't transform because I'm a victim.
Not an easy place to get to, though.
No, I mean, you've gone through body issues, pain your whole life, but the pain was really because at the core of it, you were judging yourself. I, I mean, not for here, because this is a talk which I just don't think belongs here, but I'm curious how this changes your view over time of the events.
Uh-huh.
Because I I have compassion for the abuses that I've had and the abusers, where I held judgment before. And judgment was where all of my pain in my life came from. It's I guess you're a medicine hat because you needed the medicine. Or you're not medicine at Grand Prairie. That joke didn't go out so well. Wrong end of the province.
Don't make me laugh, Gary.
Yeah. So you you were put on. You had this experience for a very specific reason, because you're not alone.
I know.
And we have this society that pretends that this doesn't happen, and the world now is finding out. Not only does it happen, it's been happening. It's like 80% of the people have experiences of some version in different versions of it, but they create the same emotions. You know, I don't trust myself. I hate somebody. I hate myself.
Really?
I have shame. I have guilt, and they all have one thing in common. They have an emotion at the root of them that's the same between all of us. And and your journey is oh well, it already is helping so many other people.
Well, yours has helped me, and many people I've seen on these lives have helped me. So it's my turn, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I want. I want everybody that's been touched by fascial maneuvers and human garage Go out and share it with somebody else. Share, and it's not share human garage passion. Just share their own transformation, their own journey. Because at the end of it, fascial maneuvers is a movement. It does really, really great. But what does that do? It helps human beings be greater.
There really is a movement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's happening all over the world. I sometimes I get stories or testimonials, like I'll read them at night, and before I go to sleep, and I'll start crying out of joy because I realize that this is something that nobody can control, and everybody has access to, and everybody can help themselves move forward. Thank you for being a part of this, Kim. Thank you for sharing today.
Thank you.
Let's see where this goes.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you later, Kim. Bye. Whoa. What was that for all of you out there? What were you feeling? Put in the comments down there. We heal in community. And there's this travesty that was done to us. And like when I was in my community, when I was young, all the mothers would be happy to discipline me or reward me for something I had done or didn't do. And we had a world that did that, and it's been taken away. Privacy has become the disease. I have people when I was in the clinic, they come in and they go, I got AIDS or I got herpes, and they didn't want anybody else to know. And I'm like, the shame is a disease. The herpes or the AIDS is a symptom. And because we only talk about the symptom, it's what is the output on the bottom. We can never get rid of the disease. Before my body has a symptom, body has to not be at ease. If I'm fearful or shameful, my body does not feel at ease. If I hold that, eventually my body's going to show something that somebody else can see. It's so much trickier than it looks because we've been taught to be private, and privacy is what makes us sick. At the clinic, we took down all the walls, we had an open clinic. And so in other words, you could almost touch the person next to you. And that's where the healing happened. That's why Human Garage Clinic was so powerful. Yeah. So if this is touching you, then find out where the shame is in you right now. Go over your body, put your hands down, find a spot where you still feel shame. I can still feel it in my sacral and in my crown, my third eye, my perception. I'm going to put my right hand on one, my left hand on the other. Do this with me. If you don't know, just put it on your heart and breathe in through your mouth. 2, 3. Thank you, shame, for being here. Thank you for giving me the courage to speak, the courage to challenge the way that I've been taught. Thank you, shame, for all that you've done. Breathe in. 2, 3. Breathe in through your nose. 2, 3. I'm letting go of all shame that I've carried consciously, subconsciously, and superconsciously. I'm letting go of all shame that I've carried in every version of myself, in every dimension. I'm letting go of the judgment that I've held against myself for having shame. I'm letting go of the guilt that I've held for not talking about it. I'm removing the shame of not talking about my shame. I'm opening myself up to bring all of the experiences that my consciousness wants to move forward and integrate shame as a productive part of my experience. So if you did that with me, you put it in the comments what happened for you, how you feel. Just Kristen, trying to reach you, Just Kristen Creations. Feeling something in my heart. My whole body's on fire. Can you imagine? You are all feeling the healing energy. This happens when we do an event, times a million. The events we have coming up in the United States, if you can get to these, or the ones in Europe. Can you imagine how powerful this is in person? And you're all here to receive this. So you're all receiving the same thing that she's receiving right now if you choose to accept it. So that means that everybody in your life is going to react and change around you. Yeah. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Cellular portal.
That's me.
What's your name?
It's nice, Gary. My name is Krista.
Krista?
In the frame. Hello,
What's
hello.
your name? Sorry?
Craig.
Craig. Krista and Craig, what are your birthdays?
Mine's July 11th, 1991.
I'm September 18th, 1976.
September what?
September 18th, 1976.
Hey, so you're 18 minus 4. You're a spiritual Virgo. You're about fixing everything to do with spirit, with the higher consciousness. You're like all into everything you embody. Yeah.
Sure.
And 11th, you're a grandmaster Cancer, by the way, I believe. You're either 19-degree or 20-degree Cancer.
19 degree.
So you're a manifest community, manifest, and for you, you feel it all in your body. Great for you, you experience it all in your body. So anything that's out of alignment, it shows up.
You got it. Everything.
Where are you guys
It's like
located?
We're in Asheville, North Carolina.
Wow, cool. How long have you been following Human Garage, or how did you find us?
It's amazing that we're actually live today. I had a strong feeling that we were going to go live with you today. I'm actually a little nervous that I'm here with you, but it's amazing. We were actually just, if we can we ground together quickly?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You want to stand up together? Just a second. You're on my phone, but we're on the laptop too.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting us on today. So we've been following Garage for about 2 years, or I have. Craig's been
Yeah.
following for about a year now.
2 years and closer to a year, paying much closer attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ready?
Breathe in. Two. Three. Through the nose. 2. 3. Oh.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. I feel so much better. Oh my goodness. I've been listening to your conversation with Ra this morning. I've tried to go live or watch your lives on a daily basis. Really connecting the dots in life about our waters, our fascia system. It is absolutely amazing. Also, you spoke about connecting with a community of teaching people how to interact with society through our energetic field or our force field blindfolded. I've also seen the same educational system or documentary, if you will. It's absolutely amazing. I'm connecting the dots so profoundly in this life in the last couple of months. It's been so beautiful, and a huge thanks to you also and the Human Garage community, because it has been so transformative to me and my body and connecting the dots. It's so amazing.
You know what's funny? If I had a beard and my hair was longer, I have the same facial structure as Craig.
About that.
And
You're
identical
Leo
facial
as
structure.
well, right?
Pardon
You're
me?
also
Yeah, I'm a 29-degree Sagittarius, which makes me a Grandmaster Sag, Grandmaster Virgo, and a Grandmaster Cancer all at the same time. And then I have a Grandmaster Aries, a Grandmaster Capricorn.
wild,
So the Virgo really comes out.
wildly. I'm Virgo Sun, Cancer Moon, and Sagittarius rising. I remember now that you had said that, and I was like, wow. So that's
Yeah, we are.
pretty wild.
We're pretty much the same, actually. Do you know your degree of Sagittarius?
Yeah, just a second.
Great question. We can pull it up real quick.
Oops.
Yeah, you have the same physical tendencies as me, even the same way your cheeks and your jaw goes.
It's wildly interesting because you had said all of that, and I have had a number of brain injuries in the past, and that along my life too, I've been like anything that doesn't belong in the human body, it's like there's always been symptomatics, whether it's migraines or square wave jerks or wild things like that. And I had another injury in 2015 that kept me in bed for almost 6 years, and I searched high and low through the world for results and surfacing what was actually going on. And I've been up for like 3 years and a couple months, 3 years, 3 months actually. And it's been the regrowth has been absolutely wildly phenomenal. And
So what's your degree of your rising ascendant?
did you say?
I can send you his chart as well. If we're looking at the chart, where would I look?
It would usually say AC or ascendant, and it'll go like 21 Sagittarius.
Oh, 29 Scorpio.
Uh,
If it's AC 29.
Oh, you're 29 degrees. So you're a Grandmaster Sag. So you are
this
me. Okay. So
this is actually, sorry, this is a few minutes off of my actual birth time, so it just puts me in Scorpio. But we could send you the
yeah.
chart.
Then that's okay. I already get it because I already know who you are. So, and I actually know why you're calling today too, which is even more important. So what is your Saturn?
Saturn is 12 Leo.
Sagittarius, Leo. So, if you knew who I was talking to today, it makes sense. Okay, now I got to ask you another one. So, what is your Chiron?
His Chiron is one
One
Taurus.
Taurus.
So you're here to help people educate. You're the student and the teacher constantly. So you learn through physically embodying things. That's why you get in your body. So you're going to teach people how to move past these issues that are afflicting them and their bodies. You're going to use your heart to do it, and you're using you're set up to be, your chart says you're going to lead. Like, I'm gonna use the word government, but that's the wrong word because of because what we think it is today. But it's leadership from the heart. It's making stuff, it's building stuff, but it's building a community.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing now. I would, with the details of how far and vast the search has been, to bring it back to some of the most beautiful, simplest tasks, in order to regain, has been the biggest eye opener. And I always say I could be rolling in piles of gold. I'll never stop sharing this information with exactly the community we're building with the.
Do you have any Aries in your chart? Any numbers of 9 or ARI Aries?
My
Um,
mother raised me very closely. She's pretty serious Aries. No, I don't
When's your
see it.
mother's birthday?
She's March 27th.
Yeah. So my sister who raised me is an Aries, who's my mother technically, and
Interesting.
my birth mother was a Leo. So any nines or Aries in your chart then?
Nines. I don't see. Well, again, this one's off a few.
Yeah,
So not sure which one
it could
does it
be
affect.
18 degree would be 1 + 8 is 9. It could be it could be like
And
27 degree.
gotcha. There's 18. Any other 9 variables? Uh, yeah, just Cancer.
Where's the 18? Where's the 18 in?
My
What state of awareness?
moon.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's basically, and so it's 18 moon in what sign?
18-degree Cancer moon.
Okay, yeah, so basically, I mean, that's why you guys are together, but the, you're basically, the way I see it is that consciousness is like a tree, and then you got branches off that tree, and on each branch you got little branches and you got leaves. So basically, we're on the same branch and we're just leaves that are staring at each other. That's how I see it. I don't really see the human experience as me, mine, whatever. I see us as all, we're all like iPhones, and we download our apps, and they may even look the same, be the same version, but they slightly run different, but basically they're the same. So I went through 8 diagnosed concussions, major brain injury, lost my ability to use a computer in 2010. um, that, that was my journey. It was to resolve myself through there. And the biggest part of the journey was to accept who I was and why I was here, and to forgive myself for all of the crazy shit that I had done.
Look at it. We get balloons today. I love it. It's a celebration. It truly is a celebration.
Yeah.
I love
And
the in messaging, the numerology and messaging. It's a profound life.
so you guys together are totally meant to forge new ground and bring community, because you're a manifester of caregiving and you're a manifester of change.
Exactly. Even manifester on human design as well. 4/6 manifester, and like she's a Cancer sun, I'm a Cancer moon as well, and like the exchange between us has exactly been just so profound. And like we're building a community called Deep Dive now, and it's
Cool.
just every part of everyone inviting people to step into their healing journey parallel to your message.
Starting with water and starting with fascia maneuvers, because they are the core foundations of our body and life, the fundamental source of life. It is absolutely amazing.
You know,
Thank you.
so one of the things that I can recommend that we went through, because what we found about community was that culture is what defines a community. It's the weaving. It's like, what is a culture? But culture is not defined and it's not taught. It's experienced and learned. And we've been taken out of community over the years, over the last 4 decades, 5 decades. We've been taken out of community. So we've lost culture of community. So we have on our on our website, and we have in our programs, we have our core values. Those core values were defined to give a common language to discuss in a community, a common measuring stick. Because I don't always live up to all those values. I had one the other day where I didn't communicate in real time and it caused a problem. But the idea is that we've been trying different versions of this, and we've been testing this out. And I've been 35 years building my values and working with teams of people to see it work. And I encourage you to use those values. And you get a chance to experience them when you go through the Our Lifestyle Artist program. If you guys are headed that direction, if you don't, that's okay too. But it's a way for you to connect with other communities around the world, because every one of the people in those communities is building one. Like one of our lifestyle artists in Sweden just took 1,000 people through the 28-day reset this last month.
Yeah, we plan on integrating Human Garage, absolutely, and we already are, and we're using that on a daily basis as well, and trying to encourage ourselves to do it even more and more.
You guys are so cute together. And
We love it.
okay, how'd you meet? Now I gotta know.
We met at Whole Foods, actually.
Yeah, wildly. She was charging a Tesla, and I never even really shop in Whole Foods these days. So and funny enough, I brought my son to school on a day he didn't have school. So we shot over there just out of, chance, and she was only passing through town. This is some time.
Yeah, I'm from Florida, and I was driving up to Indiana, actually, and I stopped in Asheville, and it was just like divine timing, if you will, us being at the same location at the same time. And
I thought we did yoga together.
Energy, yeah.
Where's your, by the way, where's your, specifically, where's your Saturn?
My Saturn is 4 degrees Aquarius.
Oh, okay. That makes it. So you belong to equality, fairness, community. So basically, yeah, that was, and the 5 Leo. That's what it was supposed to mean. It's bringing heart to community. So let me guess. Somehow you locked eyes.
What?
And you saw his eyes and something about his eyes, right? You have blue eyes, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah, blue and brown. And like the only thing I recalled, because we made an exchange later, I thought that I was like, wait, we've done yoga a bunch of times together. And when she was looking at me, I kept catching her presence. And then, wildly enough, you remember, I said all I could see was like her eyes, as if it was like, but she was at least 30, 40 feet away. Just like 30.
Did you see the hearts coming out of your eyes?
Yeah, the hearts just give on your eyes. You're gonna watch the replay for that. That's funny.
Wild. It was like instant, and our first this is about 6 months ago, and our first date was 6 days long. We just couldn't. We just couldn't again.
Yes.
Get me. We just, once we met, I mean, we've been inseparable since, and we completely integrated instantly into one another, like an unbelievable amount of, psychic and cosmic and connected, and all of the life's gears just fit into one another, and we're on this mission together now, in these last months, and we've been building this platform so that we can access as many lives and influence as many lives as possible.
Well,
You know,
we've got our whole lifestyle artist community and the design mechanism to actually support that. So we've been building the infrastructure. We have our coaches and facilitators here, which is actually part of the first part of that infrastructure. And we're just ready to start scaling that worldwide this year. So the idea is people who have this thought process, they want to live a different life. They want to be around people that feel like that, talk like that are like that. And right now, there is no place. You know, you can't go in, even to go in the consciousness community. It's so different because you know, there's a whole part of that community that's veiled in this, we are conscious, we are spiritual. And they're the complete opposite of it. Well, they're working towards it. They're just working on the opposite end so that they can get to this end. So it's so awesome that you guys are doing this. I'm looking forward to getting to know you as a part of the Lifestyle Artist Program. That's where you'll get access to our resources, because what we have is we have tens of thousands of people coming through looking for programs.
Guess what?
Right.
We can all teach each other something.
That's
So
right.
we have you too.
Yeah, we've been excited for this
Beautifully enough.
conversation in a number of ways. So
Yeah.
and even you.
I mean, that's the best part is that
So beautiful.
that's the best part is that we have been learning just by doing, and our learning comes through reflection, and that's the best part. That's, I mean, really at the end of it, that's how it works. Like nobody knows what this is going to look like. I have a view or an idea. I'm completely open to the fact that that idea is completely wrong.
Yeah.
The one thing
You said
we become is adaptable.
Mhm.
Say it again. Sorry.
You said that again earlier this morning with Ra. It's not that there is an end goal in sight, but there's so much understanding and learning in this process of our paradigm shift in life, and yours has to do with our like connective system, our fascial system. That is like you're changing. You're the huge paradigm shift also, and it's been amazing. And if it isn't the right way, it's still teaching us something so profound about our bodies and our force fields and our waters and how everything connects, even astrologically. Everything connects. That's how
Yeah,
our
we're just starting to learn.
yes,
We're little babies.
yes,
Yeah.
truly.
Yeah.
There's even been a conversation with interviewing with Human Garage that's open currently. So we're not surprised that the live is clicked on today. So we're right there with you, and we are, as we build this platform and really get it comfortable for our exact launch, so that we can manage the retainment and capacity. We have just been practicing and working on that same healing, all these same healing steps along the way. And what brought me, by the way, 3 years, 3 months ago, after hundreds of thousands, like literally 7 digits I leveraged trying to get better, was water.
Mm-hmm.
I had a water ionizer for like 16, 17 years. And then I never thinking I needed to change my ionizer, but I was drinking dangerous water with a blood-brain barrier injury, collecting heavy metals and mildew. I never knew.
Yeah.
So then,
You don't want to ionize. You don't want to ionize heavy metals.
no way. And I had a machine that still sits on my counter. I would never even give it away.
Yeah.
But immediately, once I got to the protocol, double migraines and many central nervous system troubles and different sets of neuralgia. I was up, not kidding, symptomless on day 2. And it took me months to believe I was better. And reintegrating and rehydrating the fascia and the stagnation from being in bed those years it was like an instant miracle. Yet I was already
If you guys, if you're able to, since you're doing a center and building a community, look at the Nano V. It's the only machine. It's the only piece of technology outside of the ionizers that I recommend, because it's putting structured water at the cellular level, the fourth phase of water, in through your nose. So, I don't like machines that take over a function of the human. But right now, our environment is we have dirty water and we have dirty water, air we breathe in. It doesn't matter. We live in homes that are toxic. So,
sure outgassing everywhere, air, water, and we're aware of like Gary Pollock in the fourth phase of water. Couldn't agree
yeah.
more.
So, yeah, the Nano V was actually designed with many conversations with Pollock, too. That's why I tested it in the clinic in 2018. I'm like, whoa, this changed the treatment. And I just said it affects the fascia, but I didn't understand fascia. I didn't understand what it was doing. But
Right, right. Yeah, we've deep dived, no pun intended, in so many realms because there's so much misinformation as well. And really, what I have found in the long term from drinking ionized water in my own home for 17, 18 years is the systems must be able to handle the wet, dry after the couple first years because it
yeah,
can things can begin to release heavy metals like
yeah.
nickel and mold.
Bet you had a nickel for every time you said that.
I've said it a few times. I'd at least have $1.50, I think.
It's really nice meeting you guys. Look forward to seeing you come through the
Uh,
programs. Thank you so much for
we'll
sharing.
definitely
Appreciate your story.
yep,
Take care.
Thank you, Gary.
appreciate you.
Thank you, Human Garage.
Okay, everybody. So we'll wrap up today with that. That was powerful. Tomorrow it's going to be even more. Like tomorrow's a decision day. Friday's an action day. So whatever it is that you've been trying to make change on, you've got to start something on Friday, even if it's just writing something out. And then Saturday is a manifestation day, and Sunday, boom, you get everything you need to put it into play. Monday it'll be like, okay, I did that. Okay. I'm not saying it's not gonna hurt a little bit, but it might. But I gotta tell you, this change, the change of the machine, it's on our website under our partners, you go to our products and partners, it's NanoV. That's NanoV is the only machine outside of a water ionizer. The Alka Viva is the one we do. It's the only two machines that I believe that I personally use. Okay, all other ones work. They have a thing, but they all stop working at one point. It's water. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a good day.